Started.
Yep.
Okay. Just put off if you can that we are live on this Discord only. Let's see what
Mm-hmm.
happens today, y'all. Today,
Really,
yeah, brah. Today. Let's see what happens
okay.
today. Okay.
Tell us what happened today. Anyway, why is it not showing up here?
What is not
Show up
showing?
here?
It's live for me.
Nothing there. And this, it's here. It's here, guys.
Hi
We're
guys.
live.
Live, live.
I
We have
I
zero
heard
people.
myself
Oh,
say,
1%. Oh, is that me only?
that's you only. No, it's Vaishak Suresh.
Hello. Thanks for
What a
joining.
guy.
Welcome to yet another edition of Dei Thambi, the podcast that me and Akib use as a hobby. This is, we are currently recording, I think, the third episode, but depending on how long we go today, it may even
It'll
become
become
third
multiple
and fourth
episodes.
episode. So,
Yeah.
what we'll do is for safety's sake, I'll do like two intros. So that,
Because while editing, I'll just be like, oh my god,
where
this
is it?
guy had
Oh,
such a
where is
great
it? Oh,
idea.
oh, thanks. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I'll just do one. Hello, Vanakkam, Supriya. Hi, welcome. Please come to show if you can. As you may have noticed, the thumbnail is basically a show poster. But yes, hello and welcome to yet another edition of Dei Thambi with me, Soda, and Akib,
Jalil.
Akib Jalil. Yes. And today we are going to be talking about things.
That.
That is one cut. And today we're going to be talking about a lot of things.
Oh
We're going to be talking
god,
about a lot
no.
of things.
I'm going to just have like a hell of a time editing, no?
No, damn.
What is my
I'll,
life
I'll,
become?
otherwise, I'll like record voice note and send you. You can patch.
No, thank you. No, thank you. But like today, I actually wanted to talk about something that's happened recently.
Oh, what has happened?
Uh, this didn't happen recently. It happened a while back, but I wanted to talk about it like
Mhm.
on live with you.
Is this
Okay.
another one of those things that I find out on the internet that you could have
No, no,
just.
no, no. This is not the
Okay.
internet. This I've spoken to you about, and it was a weird thing that happened.
Oh,
Right?
oh.
Yeah. So like what happened was okay. The For context sake, I used to study in a school, and in
Hmm.
schools, generally what happens is you fall in love during school time. That's
Really
what
never
I've
happened
been.
to me.
I know because you're a soulless fuck. There's a huge difference. Okay.
I think I would
No,
like to think I had a soul back in the day, and then
no,
lost
no,
it
no,
as
no.
I grew up.
I think what happened to you was when you were born, like your father looked at you and slapped you. So like immediately you realize what the world was. So there was no problem. But like for me, right? Like I had like families that didn't want to beat me
Uh-huh.
that often.
You had families, huh? Plural. Okay.
Families, bruh. What do you think
It's
this
a culture
is?
thing, guys. It's a
It's
culture
a
thing.
culture thing. Yes, it's a culture shock, if you know what I mean.
Oh.
That's how we punish them. So,
So you fell in love
no,
in school.
I fell in love in school,
Aw.
and the strange thing about that was like that person didn't like me at all. Okay, like
Okay.
zero interest in me,
Mhm.
and the only reason she spoke to me was because oh we're friends, right?
Oh, right.
And she liked another Muslim boy. Okay,
So it's not even like
which
if he was a regular boy from another religion, you would have
I
still
would have
been
been
like,
fine.
okay, I guess that was the problem. But now you're like, no, what is the difference between me and him? Practically the same person. Khatija.
Khatija, yes, Khatija. Let's call her Khatija.
Yeah.
No, but that was a strange thing. But after that, like I was very upfront about it. I
Right.
went up to her and I was like, "Hey, I'm interested in you in this way, and I want to uh, see if there's any possibility of a relationship." Okay.
Mm, mm.
She said yes,
Okay.
and we went on one date
Mm.
to Hot Breads.
Oh yeah, hot breads back in the day. Yeah.
So I was sitting next to her, and the date lasted exactly 15 minutes. because she said, I'm sick, I have to leave.
She got sick after coming there.
Like after coming there, she was like that like fake sniffles, like that fake like yeah,
Oh, I have
yeah,
to go. I
like
have to go.
she was like acting as though Corona already exists. Like, and I was so sad about it. Like when she left, but I was
Hmm.
that's fine. Then she texts me. By the way, she texts me on my mother's phone. Okay. And there's a message there that says, "Hey man, I'm sorry, but I'm not interested in you," like that.
Wow.
You know, years later,
Hmm.
and this is what happened. Years later, I've forgotten this entire incident.
Right.
Okay. On Instagram, this
Hmm.
person
Hmm.
texts me
Hmm.
and says, "I'm so sorry for what I've done." And I remember telling you this story,
Yeah.
not the
I was
this
just like,
entire context.
you had forgotten who it was, and you're just like, usually I have to send this message to people I have offended. But somebody seems to just like be apologizing to me, and I can't place them.
And like I was happier by that. Like
Hmm.
I've gotten over it and all of that. But like I recently thought about all of my relationships, and I'm starting to sense like a weird pattern of they never really dated me. Like not nobody, like except one person. Everybody else was never really like somebody. Like there was this weird, like, oh, we're connected, we're nice with this one, but we will never say out loud like, oh, we are boyfriend and girlfriend,
Uh,
except one person. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. I want to talk about like how important is having like a tag, because I felt like, dude, that it's so important to like define something more
hmm.
than any other kind of
Hmm.
thing, because I'm thinking of all the relationships I've had, and I'm like, dude, if it was defined, no,
Hmm.
I think I would have been less crazy. I would have been less crazy about the person, because it always felt like I was chasing someone.
Hmm. Hello
I
and
love how
welcome to relationship counseling. Branding, is it necessary? Tagging, is it wanted? Mutual friends, do they give a fuck? Let's find out in today's episode.
mutual fucks, mutual fucks.
Mutual fucks.
So,
Yeah, dude, that should be the relationship tag. Just like, hey, how
mutual
do you
fucks.
guys know? We're just mutual fucks.
I would wear that T-shirt next to the person I'm going out to. She'll be like, no,
only faps.
only fan.
So
Oh God.
Vaishak is saying that his first relationship lasted 8 hours, bragging, fucker. Uh,
8 hours and all.
and then she started dating my best friend a week later. Wow. And he's like, isn't my story more painful? Well, we would judge, but this podcast unfortunately has limits to who gets whose attention. But yes, we will unpack your baggage also in this podcast.
By the way, at some point, if you guys have like relationship questions, ask Soda
No,
because
just
he
put them
probably.
out there, and then like, because I think that sometimes people who have not had much or any experience in relationships actually do give great suggestions, if not solutions.
Because coaches never play, bro.
No, you
Losers came
become a
here.
coach by retiring. Okay, who is this guy? Like, not everybody is a PT master from our schools. Okay, who
I'm
has
very
no real
sure.
record of playing any of the games they are trying to teach us. But
Dude, that's
yes,
such a
please
that's
leave
a very
any
true
of your
statement.
questions. Yeah, any of your questions or just like statements, please leave them in the chat. We will be reading them. Just have patience if we don't do it immediately. I wish I was
No,
monetized because then I would encourage you to super chat. But
so
it's
that we
me,
see
not you.
your messages.
Yeah, it's me, not you. Okay, just
By the way, this is a bad tangent, but I always found it weird that, hey, if you want us to see your messages, right? Like use super chat. It's such a strange thing. It feels like weirdly like I am like extorting money from people.
but it's not extortion if there is the illusion of choice, right?
You've spoken like a true capitalist. That's like the most truest capitalist thing I've ever heard. But going back to the point of the conversation we were having,
Right. Hmm.
like to you, how important is that you need to define something.
So since I have been on both sides of this, I've never really felt like either helped, because I think it depends on the reason for, like the reason behind why you want to name it or tag it or like give it a label. Because like when you're young and all of that, you feel like, oh, it's a status thing, right? Like when, like, I've not had like any relationships in school and all of that, but like I'm sure when you're in school, uh you kind of start dating because of like a peer pressure thing, because nobody tells us that, hey, you can be friends also, that's also chill. Like as soon as you hear that somebody else is maybe dating, you're like, hey, I also want that. I also know female classmates and people my age, so I should go and tell them, hey, if you and me are talking for more than 5 minutes, what does it mean? Have you thought of that? And they're just like, no, I was waiting for my van to come. And that's been our entire equation this whole time. So like I think in initially it's like a status thing where you're like, hey, I also hey, I have girlfriend, okay, I have girlfriend. And then like that's why it never really means much or doesn't last much. And like then after that it becomes like a way for you to tell yourself that this is why I am behaving differently with this person, and why I don't do something that I do with them with other people. And this is not specifically like sex, but it could also be like why you would go like out of your way for somebody. And if somebody asked you, hey, why are you going out of your way? What? She's your girlfriend? Are you like, yeah, fuck yeah, she's my girlfriend, bro. Yeah. So then you have like a license to be like, yeah, like this is how I will mark this person as the receiver of most of my time, affection, and effort in life. And I also think it depends on, like, once you hit like adulthood, it also depends on like what kind of company you keep. Like
Hmm.
if the people around you, they're either always single or they're always couples, then you kind of feel like you need to do that, otherwise you feel excluded. Like if like you have four friends and three of them are dating and one of them is like casually seeing people, then you feel like you aren't doing either of those things. And then like sometimes like when the people who are in a relationship, when they talk to somebody who's also in a relationship, they like connect in a different level. But then you don't have that because you're just like, hey, what's so great about it? Oh, maybe it's the greatest thing. If you say what's so great, they'll tell you how great it is. If you say, oh, it's so great, they'll be like, no, I'll tell you. Okay, this fuck no, I'll tell you what this guy or this girl did yesterday. So
It's
I
such a
think,
strange thing to see like that parallel. Always, it's always that. It's like if you're on the opposing view of what, like you, if you are not in a relationship, they'll be like, "Oh, you should be in a relationship." But if you are in a relationship, they're like, "You know how shitty it is." Like
yeah,
it's a weird thing to maintain.
yeah. So I think, like personally for me, initially, like this was kind of how I looked at it, because like I was a monogamous person. So that time, and also I had no self-esteem also. So like if I
Oh
ask
my
somebody, hey,
God.
are you my girlfriend? They're like, yeah. I'm like, fuck yeah, this is my self-esteem marker. Like, look at this person, and then look at me. They are okay with me, so that means you should also be okay with me, and I will be okay with myself finally, because nobody wants to work on themselves. And then, like, I think once I went through enough relationships, and I realized that I'm doing like the chasing thing, and chasing here does not mean like chasing after people to date them, but then like once you
Mhm.
start dating somebody, also you always feel like, because you've put them on this pedestal, you always feel like you need to keep catching up to tell yourself that, oh, you deserve this person, oh, look at all the things
Mhm.
you've done, look at how much you've grown, how much you've changed, and all of those things. So I think, unless uh, like between asking somebody out and marrying them, I think like only when you marry somebody it makes sense for you to like title it. Otherwise you can call them anything you want.
See, that's the thing I disagree with. I feel like a lot of times any relationship that has ever been there, right?
Mm.
It comes down to not even titling it, just being very clear with each other as to if you're exclusive, are you not exclusive? Like because and the thing is, not everybody has the same kind of processes. Like there are people who have polyamorous, it seems.
Polyamorous.
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 It's French way of saying fucking cheaters.
Oh, we'll edit that
No.
because then somebody will say we're stealing the jokes. So
Array,
edit that.
what is this? Uh, uh, how do you say it? Polyamorous.
Polyamory or polyamorous.
Polyamorous people, right?
Mm.
It's in the sense of like nobody's that way. Like not everybody is going to be that way, like or going to have your kind of
Yeah.
thing about love. So having this idea that like oh, you know what, we should probably define who we are to each other
Mm.
is very important. You don't have to define it to anybody else, but
Mm.
I think it's very important when you're in the relationship that you have to define to each other, because I've seen your relationships, I've seen my own relationships, and I've always felt like when it's not defined to both of us, and it's like this weird place where it's like we're hanging out, we're doing stuff, but we are also not like together.
Right.
But we say things like, wait, have you ever done that where you say very intimate things to this person which you wouldn't generally do with other people?
I think yes and no. Like because one thing is I don't really have um, too many things about me that I think are like private knowledge because like, and I think that also
Stand up.
has a lot to do
Mm.
with stand up. But I think like one of the ways I kind of cut the bullshit is just like whenever like depending on what topic it is, I'm not going to be like, hey, you want coffee? Also, my parents beat me. Okay. But I think whenever I'm having a conversation with somebody, I will add as much as I can to it because I
Mhm.
don't really believe in like reserving conversations and being like, no, when I know that it's worth it, then I'll tell you more. Um,
Mhm.
so I think in that sense, I've felt like I've gotten to know somebody or somebody has gotten to know me a lot in a shorter span of time,
Mhm.
and that's also how I kind of like save time. In the sense like I always try to find out as fast as possible if either of us is wasting our time.
Mhm.
Like if I'm too intense for this person or they're too intense for me, then I'll be like, okay, you know, we tried, but certain things,
Just didn't work
just
out.
yeah, not like you can't just casually tell me that. But I have also done that, so like don't want to be a hypocrite. But okay, friends, good job. So I think
That's another thing I want to ask, which
hmm,
is, are you friends with your exes?
some of them I guess I am. But we will finish this and then we'll go to that.
Mm-hmm.
I think in an ideal situation, yeah, it's great if you can define it between yourselves. But then
Mm-hmm.
not everybody is that decisive about their life. Like
True.
that's what I have
Agree.
felt. Like sometimes, and I'm not saying decisive as in like planning your life out.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times people are like, yeah, I feel like it now, so I'll say it now. But then later, if it's not going to go through, then I don't want you to come back and be like, remember you said that, what happened to that, and all. So then, like, they're constantly in the fear of kind of having things they said being used against them in a different situation. So I guess that's why, like, they hold back and they're like, we'll see where it goes, we'll see where it goes. And then one day, or like, it's been going on for a while, and I need to know if I should like feel guilty if if I have feelings for someone else. So at least there can we like draw that line. So I think in terms of um, the commitment to each other, I guess that is why you should label something like just to be clear of what are my commitments to you, what are your commitments to me, and like what's okay, what's not okay, and then everything else. Like once you sort that out, I think then you kind of forget what you labeled it as.
That's a fair point. Fair point.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to the other question, which
Yeah.
was, how do you like? Are you friends with your exes? I'm technically, you know what? I've realized I'm just friends
Hmm.
with people I know because I never had like other than one relationship where that one ex is there. That ex
Right.
is like truly like I'm still friends with that ex.
Right.
But everybody else, I'm still friends with because I think for me, right, as a person, I'm just it's easier to be a friend than to have a relationship for me.
Mm.
And I realized that's the vibe. But like I I went out on a date
Mm.
and like we had a great time. It
Right.
was like she was talking. We had like a great conversation. Everything was done. At the end of that day, we said bye, bye, whatever. After that, like when we spoke again, she was like, "Hey man, I have to be very honest with you. You're giving off too much of a friend vibe."
What? What
Like
does
she
that
was just
mean?
like friend vibe in essence, like when you're like dating and
Mm.
you're actually trying to like there has to be some form of like flirtation happening or some form of like connection happening where it's like, oh, uh, like this person is interested in me in that way. You
Mm.
know what is my problem? I feel like the deepest connections I can have with people is to be their friend, like properly. Like I'm going to be at a bar drinking beer with you and swapping stories. And it's like I think and that vibe ends up being like, oh, you're my bro. Like at the end of it, it's just because you're my bro.
I think this is a more you thing. And I'm not like
Mm,
blaming you for it and saying, hey, fucking your fault, Raddy. But I think maybe because of the frequency of this happening to you, you just assumed that that's the most it will be, and you're already trying to be that.
mm,
Because for me, like, I think that is also the reason why I have been able to maintain friendships with people even after I've stopped dating them. So a segue to like question, yeah. But I think you have been better friends with my exes than I have ever
oh,
been.
yeah, I have been better.
And I think the
Guys, I'm
vibe
just a
check.
better friend, okay?
No, you are no, you are definitely a better human being than I am, for sure.
I'm
Which is why
kidding.
you have an infinite wealth of friends compared to me, for sure. But I think I have always been able to like switch in and out of um, thinking like somebody in a relationship, and I think it's the same way also when it comes to like locking my feelings to someone. Like once I know that I feel something for somebody, then I don't try to feel that for somebody else to check if like I don't like do that measurement type of thing. So I think in that sense, when I don't think I've ever had like a bitter breakup or something like that where that person's just like, fuck you. You know what? If you died tomorrow, I would not even care. I don't think that has happened. Because eventually, either of us or like both of us at the
Hmm?
same time. No, I really,
Sorry.
dude. Like, I don't think the bitterness was because of the relationship. If at all
Yeah,
there
yeah,
was
yeah.
bitterness, I think it's because of where we were separately in life at that moment in time. Um, and I think when I try to be friends with people I've dated, I guess I kind of just forget that we dated, not like regret it, forget it, but more like that's done. We tried that, we did that. Now, like, what's the next thing? Okay, now being friends is a new thing. Okay, then we'll do that.
I, I think a major part, like a problem people have when it comes to like maintaining friendships
Mm.
with exes, has always been the fact that there might be that spark of intimacy always there, right?
I I don't think so because see, unless you are confused about uh, unless like you are confused about how single you are, right? You're not going to like slide back because like yeah, that's I've also done that. This, but
Uh-huh.
I have also even then also been extremely self-aware that I am definitely fucking around at this point. Like
Mm.
nobody is waiting for me and crying for me, so I'll just like cry and have somebody like give me a sympathy fuck. I don't know, but I think
I,
uh,
the sympathy fuck is the real dude. It's a no. You guys don't understand. Like the reason why sympathy fuck is like such a, it's a very warm feeling. Like beyond the general warmth. I'm saying that like
well,
no,
is that what we're
it's
calling it? The general warmth.
the general warmth. You know what I mean?
Oh my god, you're gonna feel some general warmth in like a few seconds.
30 seconds if it was me. Anyway,
Hashtag
you know,
general warmth in the chat, guys.
no, but
Also, yeah, I am reading your chats, but because all of us are also engaged, and some of you definitely are vibing hard, I'm trying to not like make this into like an AMA, but we will get to that. Don't worry. I do
we
have
will get
I
into
have my phone right here, so I am looking. Don't worry. And also, I am wearing glasses. You see that reflection? That's my phone. So don't worry. I am
I see all
watching.
the WhatsApp messages. Saisha!
These are not WhatsApps for sure.
Sure, sure, sure.
Thank God they're not, because WhatsApp doesn't give you watch hours.
Uh, Not yet. I mean,
Yes, general warmth and sympathy
general, no, but
fucks.
sympathy fucks are very important
Good, that's what
because
we should title the episode. General warmth and sympathy fucks.
no, I know what a sympathy fuck is. I've had a sympathy fuck, and it is both. Like I think it's both. I think it's such a nice feeling to go back to, but it's also soul crushing because after you realize that might not happen again. Types like I've had that feeling.
Mm, yeah.
By the way, mom, dad, if you're watching all of this, I have never had sex.
Yeah, he's only had general warmth.
Just general warmth. Like mom, dad, I was talking about storks and like
Yeah, like
holding hands.
how you drop babies from the sky into
By the
chimneys.
way, this is a sad tangent, but like my mom, when I asked about sex when I was very young, she literally told me it is when parents hold hands together for a very, very long time. And I thought, like in my brain, I was like, oh, that's why they like, oh, they just like have to do this like very quick. Like I was very young.
I mean, technically, you shouldn't lie, because I hope you're holding hands when you do it.
Nasty.
What?
Dirty, nasty,
I'm not
bro.
talking about only your parents. I'm talking about it in general. Okay, there is some hand holding at some point for elongated, like cumulatively elongated amounts of time. So yeah.
The thing is, like, whenever I think about like any parents working, I'm like, a part of me is just like, they'll do it clean only. Like, there is nothing, like, they won't do it dirtily and all like us. Like,
what? i-
mommy is
huh,
not doing
what is
anything.
a clean fuck? This is like a corporate show where they allow you to swear a little bit. They like keep it clean. Slight okay, you do, but clean, huh? Family friendly.
Dude, I'm like, I'm very sure if like there was a sex tape of my parents, like it'll be PG-13.
Eh,
Like, but
your
yeah, dude,
your video has frozen. Just like
I,
switch off and switch on.
what is this? Always happens. Is it better?
It's loading. Mm, mm. Yeah. I think move around. Yeah.
मेरा नाम चिम चिम चिम.
Mm.
I
I
think
mean,
it's just that it's
I
just
think
bad name.
it'll take care of itself in a while.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah,
If you
now you're
guys are
moving.
worried, yeah, I'm
Ah,
moving bitches.
yeah.
Anyway,
But like, I think the reason why people have problems being friends with their exes is the same reason why people want to label things. Because like, if you want to date someone and you want to label it, then you also need to label it as soon as it's done, right? Like it's double work. Like if you didn't
no.
label it and then like it didn't work out, then you can be like, yeah, that thing, that equation, that situation, whatever, yeah, something happened. Okay, now you don't have to categorize it as, so in my list of people, do I cross this person out, or like what do I do with this person? Like I think that is why it's harder for people to let go of like long-term sort of relationships, because they become they don't really mean that much to you, but that's like you've been calling them a certain uh, term in front of other people also. So
Mm-hmm.
like Now you're like, hey, that person who I used to call that thing, no, now I need to put an X in front of that. And like it's two letters, but extremely hurtful. And the hyphen. But what do we do now? That's why, like,
There
as
was
soon
an
as I become friends with somebody, like, as soon as, like, I have a breakup or like a mutual separation happens, I still try to keep in touch to be like, hey, that was not the only reason I cared about you. Like, just because I stopped dating you doesn't mean that I don't care about you as a person. You can, like, if you need anything, you can still like get in touch if you want somebody to talk to, because at least like now you know that uh, you know this person enough. Like as soon as you kind of have a breakup, and you've spent like so much time with this person, unless you want to talk about the breakup in a bitchy way, there are a lot of other things that you can talk to this person about that they can actually be helpful with.
No, I get
So
that. Like, I understand that completely because at the end of the day, when you spend so much time with that person, you end up having a connection that'll be more than just physical. Like, I think I think I've been lucky in the sense that I've not always been attracted to just like them, like being pretty and all of that. It
yeah.
also comes to the point of like, oh, this actually meant something to me. This connection meant something to me, and like it wasn't like we were 24 bar 7 just like going doing naked parties, like holding hands furiously.
Uh, holding hands furiously.
Oh, you like
Imagine
that?
a high five is first base, and then like holding fingers is second base. But then once your fingers interlock, you
Or
have to get
interlocked.
married. Oh no, our palms are touching. Damn it! Oh.
Our knees weak, arms are heavy. Anyway, no, but um, I don't know, man. Like I think I've been lucky with the kind of relationships I've had where
Hmm,
it was easy to maintain the friendship because I knew them more than what they were. Like the ex that I had helped me make posters.
hmm.
We talked about art. We talked about games. All sorts of things. We still do.
Yeah, like
But
I think Supriya is asking, doesn't it feel awkward though? Like basically, she's saying that. If you have a breakup and then you try to be friends, doesn't it feel awkward, and don't you have nightmares from the relationship?
I think that's your problem,
Depends.
Supriya.
uh,
So no, wait,
Depends
wait. But
on the
I have
nightmares part of it.
I
uh,
have one particular thing that I'm very happy about, and like I want to share this. With regards to why it was not never awkward to start off with. You know why? I don't think I properly broke up with anybody. I think I have 5 girlfriends still in some form.
this is like, I don't want to close this bank account, minimum balance I'll maintain. What if one day the interest rates go up and I can take home loan?
No, because every breakup that has ever happened, no,
Hmm.
did not happen because like we hate each other or
Yeah.
like we disliked each other. It was literally like one relationship specifically happened because the other person was like, "Hey man, is it possible to have like an actual commitment in the sense of like marriage and stuff?" And I
Hmm.
was at the age of like, I can't guarantee you any of that.
Yeah.
And she was like, "I'm sorry, but I will need to." Like go ahead with this
Hmm.
because I
Hmm.
need to get a commitment from someone. I'm too old for this and I need this.
Right.
And because of that reason, we like she was sad that we were just like, oh, but so like over. Huh? Like it was like that. It was never like and it never got awkward because I think the more like I spoke to them anyway,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
There were obviously moments where like if I'm meeting them like and I'm close to them, like the general this that awkwardness might be there because I'm so used to holding them or I'm so used to like hugging them in some form, right?
Hmm.
Like for me, like my intimacy is a lot to do with touch. I like holding the person I'm with
Right.
in some form. It doesn't have like I'm not grabbing their ass.
I don't know why I just had an image of you doing this. Hey, come on.
No, no, it's not like that. I also did that, but like not like.
Consensually. Okay,
rampantly.
kids, consent
Yeah,
is
consensual.
extremely important. Like I think for me, like this whole transitioning from dating somebody to being their friend, uh, there definitely should be a break. You know, like you can't break up on Friday and then Saturday morning be like, "Sup, friend?
Yeah,
What's
yeah,
up,
you can't
friend?"
do that.
Like nothing has happened in their life. Okay, you were the biggest thing that happened in their life, and they already don't like it. Okay, like they let like I
Uh,
think both people should kind of like take that time to recover, and then when you meet them again, then there's like less baggage, because then you can kind of just like mutually put it behind you, saying, okay, I spent some time away and you also spent some time away from like whatever happened, and now in that time what have you learned about yourself? Because like that, as soon as you break up with somebody that meant something to you, what you do in like that week or that month is kind of what teaches you who you really are. Like for me, for the longest time, I could not be alone,
yeah.
and that was something that I had to go to therapy to figure out. That that's what I need to resolve. Like before you find somebody else for you, you need to kind of find yourself to be that person who's there for you. So like because I hated being by myself, I would always keep running at people, and I got into a lot of situations that probably were not the best for me.
Situation. Sorry. Huh.
Situation, yeah, because I lifted up my shirt and they were like, "Oh, the situation." Yeah, uh,
They were not reacting like that. Please don't be like those They were just like, Maple, like that. So
so I think when I kind of started slowly putting up with myself, and then slowly started realizing, okay, you know what, I also have standards, and I shouldn't always think about what kind of person the other person wants me to be and be that person. I think once those things happened, then I was a little bit better about like I think after that I was a lot more nonchalant about this whole taking a relationship thing seriously, because then I would just
mm,
take it like one day at a time. And I think in that sense, um, for me, I can't date somebody if I can't be friends with them. So then when
yeah.
I like break up with somebody and then I'm friends with them, it's sort of, it's like the full circle thing. This is where it all started. Because like as soon as I feel like I have feelings for somebody, I stop giving a fuck about how they look. Like I've never been physically or like visually attracted to somebody and then been like, hey, good looking person. Uh, do you want to do something? It's always like some conversation or something like that. And
Mm.
I think because that never went away is why even now like
No,
I'm able
I
to.
think no, I disagree with that idea that like you stop caring about the looks. I feel like it enhances how they look. Like, dude, I've whoever I've been with and like who uh after I like had that connection with them, like I would have initially been like, oh, they're pretty, but now I'm like, fucking they're beautiful. Like that kind of mindset sort of
No, but I'm not saying like
comes
I
into
don't
play.
care about how they look in the sense that they can disappear in a crowd and I can't tell them apart. But it's
Hmm.
more like you kind of like for me, I kind of stop uh, seeing them as, oh, that day you look pretty. Oh, that makeup is nice. Like at some point, I become like the worst person to ask suggestions for. Hey, how do I look? What do I wear? I'm just like, I have seen you with everything on and nothing on, and I don't have complaints either way. I am so sorry. You have to make the decision yourself. But and then sometimes like being extremely accepting of somebody's appearance can also be an asshole move apparently, especially when you're 10 minutes late already and you're still leaving to go somewhere.
Uh-huh.
So
I hear like
yeah.
a rod being thrown out, and like it
In
just
the
says soda.
fire.
I
So
wanna watch the world burn from your ass. No, but this is an interesting question Vaishak asked.
mm,
Like it happened like a couple of minutes ago.
yeah,
He asked, "Is
is
it
this the no
okay?"
hope thing?
No, not the no hope thing. This is the
Okay,
is it okay to date your friend's ex, or how long should you wait before you
okay,
date your friend's
I will unravel this, but just before that, quickly I will answer Monish's question, because
ex?
he's
Hmm.
asked, how do you accept that at some point some things, uh, there will be no hope in the relationship? Well, you know, personally for me, I go into a relationship extremely hopeless about myself.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that happens is a bonus. But I think what is uh, very important also when it comes to figuring out, do you still want to continue doing this relationship thing with this person or not, is how much of this are you doing only to make yourself feel better, and how much of it is also actually because it makes you feel better and you like this person. Because a lot of times a relationship becomes like a defense mechanism, and you're just kind of using it to get over a lot of issues that you might have with yourself. So I think that instead of thinking of it as hopelessness, just think of it as, okay, this is as far as I could get with this person. So I could either stop now and keep the happy memories, or I can try to make it work and then have like just as much toxicity and then fuck it up for everybody involved. So once in a while, I think you should kind of just like draw that line and be like, we had a good run, but after this, I feel like I'm doing this only because this is what I'm used to doing, and not because I want to do it. So,
Uh, this actually just reminds me of uh, I don't know if it was Suman
mm,
who said this.
mm,
Like there was a bit of his which I really liked, which was you should get your heart broken early.
yeah, yeah,
It's his bit only, no?
yeah, it is only. Yeah, get a heartbroken
So
early. Yeah.
and that is something that's very true because I feel like this hopelessness and all of this stems from the fact that you always think that there is nobody else. It's a very cliched statement, but there are many fish in the sea is a very true statement. There are other people, which is sadly you can't meet them now because of Corona. But
Yeah, I think you shouldn't even think of it as other people. You should just think of it as you can be a better person than you are at the time of the breakup. Which means if you can become a better person, then the next relationship that you will have with whoever it is will automatically be better, because you are on that linear graph of growing as a person. And
Mhm.
make less bad choices. That's already making better choices than before.
I feel like that's one thing I've learned from all the relationships with was that like I have to be very careful about entering any kind of relationship. I can't just be like I'm horny now and like I can't just move like that. Like I have to go in with the thought because I'll be very honest with you. The first two relationships, it was
Mm,
literally that. It was just like I am feeling this pressure of like, desperation was coming to the point,
mm,
and I don't know why it's funny to me now, but like I'm just thinking back when I was younger, and I'm just like I've done some dumb shit, like
mm.
just ask people because I'm like this person will be the only person who will say yes. Like they have no other options. Like that was the mindset that was created within me for a very long period of time
Mm,
in games relation. I feel like once you've gotten your heart broken a couple of times, it has to happen a couple of times. It doesn't get easier, but I do feel like you don't become jaded, but you start understanding like who you are as a person. You start understanding like, oh, this is the kind of people that I want to associate with. These are the kind of people I want to have, want to be intimate with.
mm.
So I think it's if you are 14, go.
If you're 14, study. Okay, why are you here?
That also. But like, if you're 14 and you're like, you know what, I just want to know how it feels to be, don't do sex.
Mm,
Like, or do it
yeah,
safely.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
telling you what
Just
to do, but
yeah.
parents, if you are listening,
If you are 14 or less than 18, don't hold hands or participate in general warmth. wait, wait for it.
participate in this.
What is Vaishak's question?
Vaishak's question is, should you date your friend's ex? And secondly, how long should you wait before you date your friend's ex?
I think from being on the, I think on being on I've been on at least one of those sides, okay,
Mm-hmm.
where I have dated somebody who was dating my friend, but
Mm-hmm.
um, and I think it depends on how do you know this person. Like for example, if you know this girl
Mm-hmm.
and you knew her as a friend, and then she starts dating your friend, then
Mm-hmm.
you already had like a friendship with them, right? But if you met this person because
That wait, I want this to be the thumbnail of the entire, like, for this episode specifically. It's just him looking at his girlfriend going like, bitch, I'm doing a podcast and I say, bitch,
I mean, some people have laugh
I'm
tracks, I have cough tracks. Yeah. um,
sadness.
but yeah, what was I
Sadness.
saying?
You were saying
Yeah,
about
so if
friends.
like if you know somebody, like I think you like Akib will relate to this because a lot of times when you meet somebody through me, you know me first and then you know them because they are somebody I'm hanging out with or somebody I'm dating, and then like if you end up spending time with them separately, and then you also have an equation with them, then there is nobody to blame in the sense that if I break up with that person and then you and that person end up dating afterwards, then as long as you already had like something or the other that was without me, it's still fine. But I think if you know somebody only as some as your friend's girlfriend and then they break up and then like you immediately start dating this person and then you start being like shady with your friend, then that's when like there's a lot of mistrust happening. And so this like I think when I was younger, I had a friend and I got to know his girlfriend through him, and then she and I started talking, and most of her friendship with me, in quotes, was like bitching about him. Okay. And I would try to be the good friend and say, listen, I know that you have these issues with him, but also understand what kind of person he is. Okay. And then eventually, like, they didn't like date for too long. But then after, like, I think about a week or so after that, that girl told me that she has feelings for me and all that. The first thing I did was I called my friend.
Mm.
Now, like, listen, dude, this is what has happened. Okay. And I was not
Good
trying
guy,
anything.
Soda.
Yeah, I was
Mm.
not trying anything. And also I made it a point that every time I ever spoke to her, I would also tell him that we spoke and what we spoke. Unless it was like a super personal thing that even she didn't tell him, I made sure that he doesn't feel like I'm talking to his girlfriend behind his back or whatever. So then, when I talked to him, I was like, "Listen, dude, this is the scene. Okay, I did not make this happen. I didn't think that this would happen either. But it's up to you because like you are more important to me than this person, just in terms of chronology, and also like I care about your feelings more than this person's feelings. So if you are uncomfortable, I won't do it." And he was also like cool about it because you're like, hey, you know what? Me and her didn't work out, but that shouldn't be like something that gets in the way of her trying to see if you and her work out. So if she thinks that she's gonna be like happier dating you, then I don't have a problem. So then after that, like I didn't feel like I was guilty to talk to somebody behind somebody's back, and like I was like swooping in, or like I was that guy just waiting for them to like break up or whatever. So I think sometimes the easiest thing to do and also like the toughest thing to do is to just be honest with the person who is involved, who is closer to you. So I think that is one thing that a lot of us, because honesty is about telling somebody what you want to tell them, not telling them
Mm.
what you think they want to hear. This is a
Mm-hmm.
general thing and not just in relationships but just a general
It's
thing.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think if
Wha-
you're going to date your ex, I mean your friend's ex, I'm going to take that again. If you are dating your friend's ex, then make sure that you give enough time for your friend's ex to first notice you as a person and not just her ex's friend. because it works both ways.
mm,
Because you can't suddenly be like, hey, from tomorrow onwards, I am next potential boyfriend. Okay, I'm not your ex's friend. That doesn't happen. So just like
mm.
try to have um, an individual relationship with somebody
Have a
that
connect.
doesn't, yeah,
Yeah.
like have a connection with somebody that doesn't hinge on somebody else, because then that
You
person is
don't need
always
the
going
other
to be in the
person.
middle.
Yeah, you don't need the other person to have this relationship happen.
Mm,
I, I, uh, I think that's another reason why I think we've stayed good friends is also because the way we've handled any kind of relationship thing. Like I still remember the first relationship that happened because of stand up.
yeah.
And I remember specifically like with the first day I was like, bro, please help. Like the first thing, like because I think I went with the mindset of like, oh, she likes soda.
Mm,
And I remember telling you, and I remember like it always helped. I always think that you were so honest with me about that entire like
mm,
setup. You were like, dude, this is what's happening.
yeah.
This is how it's going to be. And I remember like the only reason that we've been able to maintain like a friendship that actually made sense, even though our lives intertwine so much,
Mm,
was the fact that when it came to any kind of relationship, I think both of us have been just like, hey man, I'm interested in this person, or
yeah.
you've told me and said like, hey man, I'm interested in this person.
Mm. Give me
See,
1 second.
guys, this is called domestic abuse. Oh no, this is what's happening. At Sona, an early heartbreak is nice. I agree. My first crush was pure and genuine love, if you can call it that. But after the heartbreak, I have never felt the same way for someone else. I think that's Vaishak. I honestly think for you, hmm, it's strange because I think it's very hard to get away from your first love, but it's also very important to know that you will get over it at some point because all of these are cliches, but like it's very true. Time heals everything. You start becoming a changed person. Like there's this John Mulaney bit which I really enjoy where he says my wife and me don't ever want to have babies, don't want to have babies. And like their uncle comes in and says like, oh, never have babies? And he's like, dude, when I was 15, I smoked cocaine. And now I'm afraid to get the flu. People change. Like that's the truth of it. My first relationship crushes was on based on looks, and that's why I never had any. I think so. Nobody kind of liked me. I don't know what to say to you, Monish. I think that's a very honest take. With regards to how you want to deal with your relationships. I think as long as you're honest with how you perceive someone, like even I think it's not a bad idea to say that like I fell for their looks, right? I think that's the first thing that happens. I think that every time you meet someone, you're not immediately like, oh my god, it's your personality. It's looks. And I think that first layer is very important. Like first impressions of anything, it's like looks for a lot of people. At least for guys, a lot of the times it's the same thing. Hey Ricky Tricky, long time no see. How you been? As you guys can see now, I'm just handling this situation here. We have 12 people watching. Thank you so much for all of you for joining. First of all, if 11 people are watching, please like the fucking YouTube video. Attendance
Hello.
taken. I'm over her in all sense, but the magnitude of what I feel has never been the same for somebody else. Aww. By Shaq being honest to us on a stream.
Yeah, sorry, I'm back from nurse duty. Yes. What were we talking about? I
We're
remembered it
talking
when I
about.
went out. I suddenly, yeah, we were talking about being honest. Yeah, I don't think you and I have ever had a problem because of somebody else. Like we've
Mhm.
always created whatever issues we've had within ourselves. At least we're like creative that way. It's never been
No,
like,
I think
that
our
bitch, that fucker. because of him, you, that's never that. We don't need
That
anybody
never
else.
happened. Yeah, yeah. No, no, no. And I, to be very honest, I think a lot of times I have. This is such a fucked thing to say, but a lot of times I have steered away from bad relationships because I'm just like, I've seen what happens to soda, and
Yeah, dude. I
I'm
think
like, I shouldn't do that.
I think especially after a certain point, I realized that, you know, I will never learn certain things unless I put myself through them. So, just for future myself, I will just see this through. I will see, like, I think, the, like, this also ended up becoming a bad habit after a point was because I had such a high um, perseverance threshold. I would never like completely quit a relationship unless I was sure I had tried every single thing that I could to keep this going and to like quick fix it until finally I'm just like, so much I've done, it still comes back here. So maybe this is supposed to happen no matter what I do. So like I must exit the matrix right now.
That's a very, very well thought out. But there is an important question now.
I know,
I
I
love
know,
this question.
I
I
know.
love this question because
Is
it's
this the
happened to me
is,
so often.
is this the one about
Uh,
ghosting?
yes, yes, it's
Oh
about
yeah, you
ghosting.
go
Guys,
first. You go first.
the question for context reasons and for continuity reasons. Okay, sit back a little. Sit back like this. It's an audio podcast. It doesn't matter how you sit.
Yeah, of
Okay.
course.
The question is, how do you deal with someone ghosting you?
Mm,
Okay. So this is how I dealt with people ghosting me.
mm.
This is what I did. Okay, I found their address, went to their house, and I was like, "Bitch, who do you think you are? Give me answers today." No, actually, no, no. The way I dealt with ghosting is, I think the way I dealt with it is that I realized why,
Mm,
right?
mm.
Because a lot of times people think about ghosting as like, oh, they're being rude to you, or they're. I don't think it's them being rude to you.
Unless it's
There
that
have
one person, you know who you are. You will never watch this, so you will never listen to this. So you know what? Yeah, I just wanted to indulge in this outburst. Continue, okay?
it's
Sorry.
okay, it's okay. This outburst is important. No, but I think the way I have dealt with ghosting has always been to realize that it's not my fault that they ghosted on me,
Mm,
right? And I do not take blame into the fact of like, oh, was I boring? Oh, was I this way or was I that way?
yeah,
It
yeah,
comes down to, unless I have been that way and like
mm,
I'm super self-aware when I know I've been
yeah,
creepy or
yeah.
I've been like I might have went over bounds
Mm.
while talking to someone. But when I've had a genuine conversation and then later on they just stopped texting me,
Right.
I'm like, maybe for them they lost interest there,
Yeah,
or they just had, like, everyone has to deal with the life. Like, dude, me and Soda, like, sometimes I don't reply to Soda's messages like immediately,
yeah.
or like I don't pick up his calls, or
You've gotten better at your response, which is also something I will acknowledge because there were times where I would just be like, I have to give up now because this guy, like, you, like at one point was so bad, like you wouldn't even ask me, hey, you called her, like
yeah,
at least that much. But like
yeah,
sometimes I would just be like, you know what, if he could, he would. He genuinely
mm,
might have forgotten, or by the time he saw it was too late. It's fine. And
yeah,
I guess like there's been nothing like super urgent. Also, thankfully, but
yeah. I think like, but that's big. That's our relationship. But like, I've always noticed that like I feel sad about a ghosting incident only when I feel like I have done something for them to stop texting me or
mm,
for them to stop contacting.
yeah,
That's the only time I've ever felt bad. But when I feel like, hey man, that conversation was fine.
right,
I'm very aware of who I was in that conversation. I was very aware of what they were also saying. So I didn't really see a problem there.
yeah.
How
I
about you? How do you deal with ghosting?
I think for maximum effect, what I'm going to do now while responding to this is I'm going to switch my video off so that you only hear me, which is less than you get when you get ghosted. So,
I feel like the overlay will get fucked, ra?
what overlay? No, it won't.
The okay,
Look at
okay,
the screen.
then continue.
As long as it's just two people, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So, I think, firstly, to everybody out there, if it is an app, okay, that is not WhatsApp or a regular texting app, please don't waste your time trying to figure out why somebody ghosted you. Okay, like unmatching, deleting, blocking. Sometimes people don't know why they do it. Like sometimes they just want to feel that power of doing it to someone because maybe somebody did it to them and you don't even matter. But sometimes I think there is a little bit of like you need to be a certain level of mature to understand that yeah, getting ghosted sometimes 70% of the time, if you get ghosted and you don't know what you did wrong, and it's somebody who you know fairly well enough, like not like best friend types, but like somebody that has spent some time with you. It's not like the first time or the second time or the third time that you're talking to them. Then stop trying to figure out why it happened to you. Because Akib knows
Mm.
this. I went through an extremely excruciating phase where I would get ghosted by this person. And each time that person would come back on the radar, I would treat them like they never ghosted me, even though I felt horrible about myself. And I tried to like explain it to myself 100 different ways, saying, "Hey, maybe it was a bad day for them, or maybe this happened, that happened." But then when I started seeing a pattern, I was like, "Oh wait, this is what this person does." If I wasn't myself and it was somebody else in my place, this person would still do that. This is just something that this person does because they think it's okay, or they think they can come back and be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and they can apologize out of it. And um, it only affects you if somebody ghosts you and you try to follow up. Always tell
Follow up the
yourself,
ghosting.
yeah, no, follow up as in like if somebody ghosts you, right? Like you always know, like whenever you're taking up a quiz, right? Sometimes you know the right answer, but then you say something else, and then as soon as you hear the answer, you're like, "That's the first thing I thought, man. Why didn't I go with that?" You will
Yeah.
always hear yourself in your mind telling you it's not worth it, don't. But then
Hmm.
to like drown that voice, you will go out and be like, "Hey, just checking on you. Hey, I hope you see this. Hey, I hope you like respond when you see this." You know what? You don't matter to that person right now. And they
Mm.
shouldn't either. Okay. Like, if you believe in the paranormal, then look for people who have definitely died. Don't look for somebody who is alive definitely and still being a ghost to you. Ghosts are supposed to be in your past. Okay. Don't
Oh,
don't
damn.
include ghosts in your present or your future. That's what I learned. I think the last time I got ghosted, I just stopped. I didn't notice and I didn't like keep going back. I stopped trying to haunt myself because that is all you. Like how much somebody ghosting you affects you, that is the only thing that's up to you.
I This is obviously coming from a person, like this is hindsight, right?
Right.
A lot of this is hindsight. So I guess the question is like at this moment when somebody's ghosted you, right?
Yeah.
What is the best way to deal with it? Because right now you were able to come with it because of like a lot of it just happening to you so often,
Yeah.
and now you're realizing it. But like if there was a moment where like let's say that you're at that first moment getting ghosted,
Right.
how would you deal with it? Like how would you deal with it now with all the information that you have? Like would you change? Would you just be like, oh, this doesn't matter to me, or do you accept the fact that this matters to you and then try to move on?
No, I don't. I never fight my feelings. But what I try to do is whatever I'm feeling, I try to feel it, and then I just like let it go. Like obviously, even now when somebody ghosts me, um,
Mm-hmm.
I immediately like I get mad, and I also try to understand why it happened, and all of those things I do. But now I think I do that for lesser amount of time. Like
Mm-hmm.
earlier, if it was like a whole day, now it's like 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of that 5 minutes, I tell myself, okay, these feelings were just like reflexes; they were just reactions, and I don't want. I'm not the kind of person to like suppress my feelings or anything like that. So I'll feel these things, but as soon as I'm done feeling those things, I'm going to tell myself that there are better things to do,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes not doing anything is still better.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I
Uh,
stop like I stop taking it personally.
Supriya Suresh asks, "We miss your Moonji. Please come back." He he.
Yes, coming back now. Okay,
And Supriya Suresh also said, "Then why is it called Bhutkal?" I don't
Bhutkal
understand that
is
question.
no.
Okay.
So there are three. So just like past, present, and future in Hindi, Bhutkal means the past, Vardhaman Kal means the present, and Bhavishyat Kal means the future.
I should have known this. I did second language Hindi. Okay.
Yeah. 1 second. You have a joke. What is your
क्या
joke?
हुआ?
If somebody who ghosts you calls you drunk in the middle of the night, is it a booty call?
Bhuti Kal.
They ghosted you.
Oh,
No, it's
but
a
why would they have
booth
to
call.
get drunk for that?
Because a booty
Oh,
call
it's
is
a
a booty.
Bhutkal. Yeah, okay, Akib is telling it correctly. Good joke. Good joke.
They're
See
patronizing
that
me.
I'm not patronizing you.
you're definitely patronizing. Shut up. Like dude, I know you're
I
patron.
don't know how to tell somebody who was sick to try better next time. Okay.
That's called no empathy, you dick. Like I will give great relationship advice, but empathy, talk that.
Yeah, no, for
By
me,
the way, guys, eh, I think if you want anything to be solved in like relationship, just have empathy, guys. Like, just be like, you know what? Would I be a dick to myself like this right now? Like, just ask that question once in a while. That's all you need to do.
yeah. Yeah, I think that the just to like wrap up this ghosting segment, I think that's the same logic also. If you would never ghost anybody under any circumstances, then don't try to explain to yourself when somebody else does it to you, because that's how you
Yeah.
know that you don't deserve it. And it's not even like what goes around comes around. It's just that I would never do this, so I'm going to stop understanding why somebody else would do it to someone, or even me for that matter.
True, true.
Yeah.
I feel like we've done an hour of
But
this
they're still
amazing.
here, so I think
I
if
know
there is
they're still
any more,
here.
but I think the more important thing that we also should touch upon is
Touch
that
upon.
yeah, like
Tell me.
yeah, just hold hands while we do it.
Itchy.
uh,
Don't keep doing that same callback. Fucking lazy.
yeah, it's a kai back. It's not a callback. This is a visual joke that will not make it to the audio podcast.
This is also a visual joke.
Just like when people are listening to it, they'll just be like nothing and then like visual joke and then laughing. Just FOMO them into coming to our YouTube. But I think the one thing that I have not been able to experience or understand that maybe you have gone through is how to be okay with the fact that being single is also accepted.
I think this one I feel like I understand it more because of the fact that I've been single for a very long time.
Yeah, and also I think
Um
it's not always forced, right? Like you're not like a sad single fuck.
oh no
Sometimes
no
you're
no
just
no.
single.
Yeah, no, so I think there was a period of time where I went from one relationship to the other.
Mm,
And it was a very short period of time. I think it was my actual ex to the next person.
mm,
And the major thing I realized there was like in that relationship, I understood two things. One thing was I am somebody who is very needy
mm,
a lot of times in the relationship.
right,
Like I require intimacy to the point of like it's a little, it becomes neediness. It becomes like a requirement for me to hold on to that person,
right,
right? So after that relationship was over, I was just like, you know what? I really need to like who I am before I, and this is something I've told you also.
yeah,
I feel like having a hobby, and I have so many hobbies because
right,
of this reason, which was that I started realizing like I enjoyed something like, let's say, Rubik's Cube, or
mm,
something like editing, or something like art. It all started coming to the point of like I enjoy doing this by myself, and I started really liking my own company and really liking who I was as a person. And
right,
I think that helped me deal with the fact that it's okay to be single.
mm,
There were obviously moments where I'm like, even like when I see your relationship, there will be always this twinge of like, I wish, like it's a cute relationship. I would like to
yeah,
have those moments as well.
yeah,
But I always come back with the thought of like, it'll happen at some point. It's happened before. It'll happen at some point again if it
yeah,
needs to.
yeah. So, have you ever felt I should have found someone by now? What's the problem?
No, I've never had that problem. I've never felt like there was that point where early on where desperation was very much there, where I was like, எப்போ வரும் மொத்தா? Like I also want to do buybacks. And
அவனுக்கெல்லாம் நடக்குது. That fellow and all means,
oh,
Dei
dude,
Thambi,
that
what about me, man?
oh, dude, I kid you not. There were so many ugly fucks. No offense, but like so many of them who were just like, dude, like there was a guy who was 10 kilos more than me, okay,
Wow.
and it hurt me whenever I saw him because it was a babe that was walking with him, okay, and I was just like, go fuck yourself, no, like why are you getting this opportunity? I'm sorry, it's all
Yeah,
the
but
desperation.
also like in the same vein, have you also thought about what is she compensating for? Because like in the sense like
I
okay,
know
not
what
just
she
she
was
but he
compensating
also,
for.
like when you see two people who are to yourself, like you see two people and you're like these two shouldn't be together, right? How are they compatible? There's also like at least like the comedian brain, right? Like the comedian brain always goes like one of you is extremely happy with this and the
Yeah,
other
yeah.
person is just a liar.
No, that's I honestly know this
Mm.
from. I'm not trying to shit on. I'm trying to shit on the relationship, but like no, because that guy was super rich, and I know for a fact
Right.
the reason that she went out with him for so long
Mm.
was because bought her clothes, bought her stuff, and that was just a real thing
Like
that
a
I got. I wasn't,
lifestyle choice.
it was a lifestyle choice for her. They're married now,
Mm.
and he has a McLaren. So
Yeah,
yeah, and he's lost weight.
not the One Plus McLaren version. The version of McLaren that inspired the One Plus. That one.
That one, yeah, that's exactly. Oh God, that guy became very thin also.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't know why I remember all of this information. I guess I was still like very sad about it. This just proves that I might still be this guy though. Like the way I reacted to this entire thing. No, but I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Mm.
What was the question again?
No,
It was
I was trying to get at. Um, do you ever feel that at some point, like let's say, because you are not looking for uh, a relationship or
no, dude.
somebody, do you
I
think
get
that
the
at
question.
some point, like if 5 years from now, right, whether you have had relationships or not, if you're still single, would you be like, okay, you know what, I'm not going to waste any more time now.
No,
I am this old, I need to find someone.
no. I think for me it's very important that either like if I'm doing arranged marriage also, I would require that year to get to know them, get to be with them. Like not even physically, just to talk to them and see like how they feel about me. Like I need that time. I need to
Mm.
have that connection. Otherwise, there's no point to any of this. I'm thankfully right now my family is actually they've started asking also. So I guess very soon I'll be very bitter. So let's see.
Okay. I don't know if anybody has asked this in the chat yet, but I think this is also something to bring up.
Hmm.
Do you think having enough friends or enough good friends or good friendships is a substitute for a relationship? Like, because
No,
sometimes I've come across people who have either directly to me or like indirectly I've heard this, where they're just like, look at all these people around me, why do I need one more person, or why do I need that person? I'm already getting all the love and attention and affection that I need from all these people. So do you ever think that if like one slot is empty, you can just like fill other slots more and feel like, you know what, I don't need to
no,
date somebody, I have friends.
no. I don't need friends now. I have friends.
Mm,
Why? I feel like people really confuse that term,
mm,
like a friend and a relationship. Like I
mm,
understand that your your better half is always going to be like, oh, she's also my best friend. All of that is
mm.
true.
Yeah,
But I feel like that relationship transcends friendship. It becomes something more, right?
right, right.
Or it's a completely different thing compared to like what a
Mm,
friend is.
mm, mm.
I'm not going to come over to Soda and be like, hey man, I want to kiss you in the mouth. It's never going to happen,
Yeah,
right?
also don't turn up at anybody's house and be like, hey, I was just passing by and thought I'll come over and be like, can I kiss you? Don't. Okay, for further reference, unless like that's a contract between you.
Yeah, it's a weird dude. I want to sign that contract where it's like every Tuesday from 3 to 5, you are allowed to tongue kiss me.
Imagine this person lives in a gated community, and then you turn up at like 10:30 in the night, and the watchman is like, who are you? Why are you here? I am here for this house. Reason, kiss on the mouth. It's my regular time. Just like, okay, let me in next time without questions.
No, but see, my major issue. Oh, my major issue is this: people always construe that if you have friends, why do you need
Hmm,
a relationship? I feel like a relationship sets up goals, not sets up goals. It sets up a different set of priorities for you
and like
and
expectations.
needs and expectations. Yeah. So if these are the things that I'm requiring, and obviously I can't get that from friends.
Hmm,
I can't find intimacy with friends, like in the sense that I require like that
right.
physical intimacy. I'm not going to have with my friends, right? I'm not going to have the love quotient kind of thing that I love you as my friend, but I have a very different idea of love when it comes to my partner,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm,
So if that is the case, why would people saying like, oh, but if you have love and affection from others, why don't you need this, is a very dumb thing to say. I feel like that means you found it. You
hmm,
have been able, you're maintaining a relationship now, and
hmm.
you just coming up to me and telling me like this is, you're shoving it into my face that I'm alone. Stop doing that. You piece of garbage human being, whoever does this. I love that. Dude, at this point, I understand the cough. Like, I
Yeah.
hope it's catching on the mic.
A little bit. I think there'll be some cleaning up we'll have to do afterwards. But anyways, people are still here. How do you feel at the end of this spontaneous discussion that we started? And right now, it's a discussion. When it gets edited only, it'll be a podcast.
Hmm.
But and I think we have always spoken at length uh, at various points of both me being in a relationship and you being in a relationship. And I think most of the time the reason why I would always come to you is because you would tell me things I don't want to hear, but also like you would tell me things I should hear. And I think that for me, the litmus test has always been that if I like somebody, then I will introduce them to Akib. And like if Akib is like able to have a conversation with them, and he's able to have a conversation with most of them. And I guarantee you, Akib, the first time he has met a few people, has immediately come to me and said, one, why? Secondly, are you sure? Third, this person will fuck you up. Fourth, it will be extremely funny to me. But I don't want that to be the only reason you go through with this. I'm okay with this person because you are okay with them. But just letting you know, this bitch crazy.
Yeah, I think the reason we do that is because I think I've seen you at the worst in a relationship, and you've also seen me at the worst in a relationship.
Yeah, yeah. And somehow
And
both our worst times involve us like crying in a public place.
yeah, dude, it was so sad. Oh God,
Yeah.
I was such a bitch. Also, you know how sad it was that it was the same person. Like it was the same kind of torment that happened though. It like sort of in essence.
Yeah.
I didn't date his ex, guys. Like I
Yeah.
just want to point that out. None of that should happen.
Yeah. But yeah, I think what we have two options depending on how you're feeling. But before that, we'll just like record a wrap up. But yes,
Let's do a wrap up.
thank you for this, Akib, and thank you for the people who were listening to this live and watching it also live on YouTube. You guys have also been a great help. This did not feel like it was just a conversation between me and Akib, and that is thanks to all of you people who have been here for a while now. But yes, this was episode 3 of Dei Thambi, where there is a reason also why we didn't talk about the friend zone and the bro zone, because those things are not real. That's just shit that you see in media, and then you just want to be like, oh, she friends on me, she bros on me. No, please. If somebody tells you they're not interested in you, just take that as a sentence. Don't try to put it in some folder and say, this means bro zone, this means friend zone, this means like fro zone. Don't do that. Okay. Just, yeah.
Also, don't do jokes like that, guys. So,
We can edit. No, when they edit it, you stop at bro zone. Stop. But I think the fro zone one was an incredible joke. Eh? Eh? Huh? Because like Incredibles.
this people were saying this was the best episode ever and all until this point. Like after, like when you said that particular joke, they were like six,
Yeah, because
five,
like
four.
every relationship has high points and low points. And how do you tell sometimes when that was the highest part? When you get to the lowest part, which is how that joke was. As soon as that
You
joke landed, everybody was like, shit, this same guy was talking like sense like 2 minutes ago. What the fuck? Uh,
Sona's jokes are exactly like your jokes are exactly that. Like you finally tuned to the point where you get to the peak. But when you're just generally talking, oh, he loves jumping off a cliff. Like it's so much fun to see him free fall into the doom. Like
and I always make sure that that everybody knows I'm gonna do it. I'm like, this is nice. No, watch me do this. And then I'll
oh
jump off that
god.
cliff. But yes, this was
Okay,
great,
but we
and I
need to do
think
a proper wrap up. We need to
yeah,
do a
proper
proper
wrap
wrap
up.
up.
So yes, this was Dei Thambi, and this was me, Soda, and
Akib Jalil.
Akib Jalil, and we will be back with one more episode. And I hope you guys enjoyed listening to this as much as we enjoyed talking. And we will see you in the next one soon enough. Follow me on
Bye.
@codenamesoda. Ritra, day.
Sorry,
Follow
sorry.
me.
My bad.
Follow me on @codenamesoda on Instagram, Discord, and on YouTube. And Akib Jalil is,
You can follow me at Instagram at friendly Jalil, and that's all.
yeah, because he just needs one platform. He's not a whore like me. Yeah, that's a
Hey,
wrap.
this is at this
We will,
point my channel also.
yeah, of course. So yes, we'll see you, and we will hear you in the next one. Until then, see you or hear you. Bye bye. Stay home, stay safe, and if somebody ghosts you, let them go. Sometimes when you love something and you let it go and it doesn't come back, it wasn't worth it.
If you love something, let it go. Let it go.
You're not a voice. Oh shit, dude! I just realized that Frozen 1 and Frozen 2 both had great relationship songs. So like the first Frozen 1 was Let It Go, and that was about like love and letting it go and all of that. And then the second movie had a song about being ghosted because it's like, you're not a voice, you're just a ringing in my head. That's what it is. It's just a ringing in your head because your phone is not ringing. You're being ghosted right now, right this instant. That's why you're listening to this also, which is good. Sometimes good things do come up. Hey, you lost a relationship, but at least you gained a podcast.
I'm sorry. Tell you guys.
But yeah, we'll be back
the
soon. And with that,
I'm going to edit that part in such a way that it's like soda out of context.
yeah,
Like
I
talking
just
about
love.
Frozen 1,
I
Frozen 2.
love the fact that like when people listen to or watch this podcast, they won't know which is the blooper reel and which one is actually like the
Oh
podcast,
God.
which is great.
They'll never know also,
They will
guys.
never know. Yeah. So okay, so that is one. We still have people here. How do you feel? Do you wanna like do one more? Like not as long maybe, but just like we'll see what they want us to talk about and we'll pick some topics. We do have
If they
some people
have,
here.
I don't like the reason that I was up for doing podcast today specifically was also like I was like, oh, I have this question I've always wanted to ask,
Hmm.
and I felt like it would have been a good segue into doing it. So I was like, oh, we'll sit and do.
Yeah.
But hey, let's
Because we
crowdsource
we do
topics
have
today.
like people back with us and it is a Monday. So guys, please let us know if you would like us to continue this for a while longer and leave us topics or suggestions in the chat and we will see if we can pick one of those and give it a whirl, give it a little think, and we'll see what we come up with. In the meantime, Akib, how was your Monday?
My Monday was actually great. I listen. This part of the podcast is the part where it'll be boring.
No, this is
But
not the podcast. This is us acknowledging the lag.
after credit scene, yeah.
Yeah, this is us acknowledging the
So
lag and like having something to do
today,
while people are like
so
giving us
today, so
topics.
today, I many things happened. One
Hmm.
was I got a lot of editing work done today. Second thing was I've learned a new software for editing.
Woo!
Uh, Third thing was I've also learned sound mixing, and
Hey.
I'm about to be a fucking boss in sound mixing. Fourth thing is I'm working on a nature doc with this guy called Roy Pix.
Hmm.
He's a Ohio photographer who has a plants and animals YouTube vlog style kind of documentary style video that he wants me to help him with.
Hmm.
So I'm editing that. And that's it. Oh, my graphic novel is also something I've been working on, but I have not like I finished like a couple of panels, but I'm very unhappy with them.
Okay.
But otherwise, that's how my Monday has been. How has your Monday been?
Definitely low on the achievement scale compared to you.
Mm-hmm.
But I think after the longest time, I've had a good Monday.
Oh shit! Why?
Yeah, and I think I have never said these words to you or anybody in general.
Yeah, you
In the
never have.
longest time, I'm like, today was Monday and I loved it. But yeah, I think today what happened was, in the meantime, guys, please keep the suggestions coming. We have a few suggestions already. By few, I mean two, because more than one is plural. And we will check and we will start on something. And Akib is also going to be looking at the comments. But yeah, so what happened today is I woke up at like 7, and as soon as I woke up, I got off the bed, and like by 8 o'clock, I had made coffee and things like that. And then between 8 and 9, I got ready and I got to work at exactly 10, which is when I'm
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be there. And as soon as I got to work, I got super sleepy. I was yawning. And this is something I've not been able to figure out about my body and my sleep cycle, where when I wake up, I'm fresh, but then if it involves me going out or going to a place, usually on the weekdays, I'm immediately just like sleepy in 2 hours. But then, thankfully, um, our Discord friends helped me out. PD played that that song,
Good.
and that kind of like woke me up, and then I queued like a list of songs, and then I clocked out of work at 5 today.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
That's
like
good.
by lunchtime, I had finished like 70% of whatever work I had to do. In fact, I had to tell myself to slow down because I didn't want to look like I was leaving work too early. But
Hmm.
then, like, I got done with work, and then I came back, and then this podcast also happened today. And like the last couple of weeks, because of a lot of things we were also doing, we couldn't do this. So today, like overall, like I did enough things today to make it feel like the beginning of a week, because
Yeah.
usually Mondays are still like Sunday hangover, and
Mm.
not just like the alcohol, but like just the number of days. Like I had kind of just stopped acknowledging any day that was not Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like
Mm.
I would only tell myself, oh, today is Friday. Okay, today is Friday. Tomorrow will be Saturday. Day after is Sunday. Monday to Thursday, I kind of just like made it a blur for me, because same thing. Get up, go to work. Get up, go to work. Get up, go to work. So, and I've been trying to like get back to working out. So hopefully this week I'll start back on that as well. So I think overall, more than productive, I would say I felt a sense of satisfaction with the fact that I do have a work ethic sometimes. And
That's
I'm
good.
also not going to try to do this every day, because that's how I fail. I'll just let this happen organically more often until it happens every day of the week.
We have a couple of suggestions
Yeah.
also right now. Talk about happiness and the general chase towards it.
Mm.
Justice or mercy, which is more important? Neither.
Mhm.
Um, what it means to both of you and what it means to people in general.
Mm.
If your memories will be erased, what kind of person would you be?
Hey, masala
Doesn't
dosa,
stress
what's
people
up?
out.
Hey, butter masala dosa is back. Also,
Hey,
Ricky Tricky, and butter masala dosa. Bro, I think you know what we should do. We should welcome back Ricky Tricky and butter masala dosa with our stream team salute just for
team
them,
salute.
just for old time's sake. Okay. So in 3, 2, 1, stream
Stream
team
team
salute. Huh.
salute.
Thank you for joining us again. Has been a while. We
It's
have
nice to
missed
see you
you.
guys.
Yes, thank you.
It's nice to
And
see you
because
guys.
of
Instead of us
people
playing,
like you, we reached 1,000.
yeah.
So happy. Yeah, that's how I deal with happiness. I become cringy.
I think we've had a good run today. I think we shouldn't like push it to the point of like, hey, let's keep talking about things.
No, I
It's
think
good.
what we can do is happiness is probably one thing that we could talk about. Also, let me just quickly acknowledge Ricky Tricky. Um,
Acknowledge, acknowledge.
Getting attracted to your best friend and got rejected, no friendship got ruined too. How to deal with that? It's like friend gone, then relationship also gone. You know what? Don't deal with it. Sometimes you should
Mm-hmm.
just like take a break and let nothing happen. And then when you are feeling slightly better, just like think about what you want to do. Sometimes not doing anything is the best thing to do. If you think
Get a
anything, you
hobby,
do.
guys.
Yeah, no,
Please
getting.
get a
I
hobby.
mean, this is their hobby, so now we need to do this more often so that we can be the escape. But
Yeah.
yes, tricky. That would be the only thing I would suggest to you. Sometimes it is good to just like take a break, just like go on a walk, ride your cycle, just like what Akib said. It doesn't have to be a hobby specifically, but just anything that will take your mind off. Watch a really bad movie, that also works. But just like
A
don't.
good example of a bad movie. Give a good example of a bad movie.
Good example of a bad movie. Uh, yeah, I don't know if it will be bad for him, but there is this movie that I started watching recently. It's a it's a Tamil dubbing of a Telugu movie, and the title of this movie in Tamil is
Yeah.
Yen Peru Surya Yen Naadu India. Yen Veedu India. Yeah. So it's Allu Arjun, shining star Allu Arjun.
Oh,
No, stylish star
Allu.
Allu Arjun. Sorry, I forgot. Stylish star Allu Arjun movie. But yeah, just movies where you look at the poster and you know that you would never pay to watch this, but because it's there, you can. So yeah, just like do something that will take your mind off of things. And like some problems in life don't like, not every problem in life needs to be solved by you. Sometimes they just solve themselves and that's kind of just how you grow, I guess. It's like,
I guess.
yeah, it's kind
Yeah,
of like what
guys.
we do with jokes also. No? Like sometimes it's like
Yeah.
how to make this funny. You know what? Fuck it, I'll do other jokes. Then suddenly, like some 1 2 weeks later, you'll be like, oh shit, yeah, now I know what to do.
All the cliches are fucking true. That's what we've learned
Hmm.
recently. Is that like time heals,
Yeah.
give it time. All of it is just true, dude. Like there's nothing that cannot be fixed over a period of time, other
Hmm.
than maybe if you lost an arm. Like, I'm sorry, time won't fix that.
Okay, so happiness. Okay, let's not treat this as a podcast, but let's just like uh, do like a quick. If it lasts, if it like goes beyond a certain point, then we'll think about editing this. Otherwise, we'll just
Mhm.
like keep like sub
For the watchers.
podcasts.
This is for the
watch
watchers.
watch ours OP in the chat. Those of you who watched it. uh, but yeah, happiness. What would you? Okay, when was the last time? Recently, yeah, obviously recently. But when was the last time you were happy?
I'm to be very honest with you, I am right now at the most like happiest I've been in a very long time.
No, like I mean, like happiness as a reaction to something, not like a phase, but just like
Oh, as
oh
a
that
reaction
hey,
to
like I ate that ice cream or like something nostalgic or something somebody told you or something that you discovered.
I this is a terrible thing to say though, because the reason for my happiness was very sad. The okay, so what happened was that one of my exes at at one point has been having a bad time with their boyfriend, and a little part of me was very happy about it. I know what I said, but fuck off. Okay,
Yeah, if
it
this becomes a
happens once in a
podcast,
while.
that's definitely not going to be in.
Yeah, definitely not showing
Today,
up here.
what made you happy recently? Somebody else's unhappiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but like to be very honest, that did it made me happy, not in the sense of like, oh,
One
I
second.
can definitely see what's making you happy, sort of.
You want more hot water? Is your hot water over? Should I get you more?
Yes, please. Oh, wow, guys. So that's what happiness is, guys.
Get you?
Sadness. Does my problem is that the judge from the courtroom is too cocky? What should I do? That the judge from the courtroom is too cocky. What did you do, butter masala dosa, for it to where you have to have a judge present? Dude, if you're a convicted criminal and all, we can't associate with you. I'm just saying this right now. Pa 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 da pa do. என் பேர் ஆக்கிப் அண்ணா 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 அண்ணா. Want to tell you what actually happened to we both sat and talked on it, what our behaviors make me feel like that, and decided to take a break for friendship. And when I set right, my mind was very back to friendship. Has dinner? I don't know, Ricky Tricky. I don't know what you're saying, bro. I'm I've been doing this for a while. We've been talking non-stop for the last 98 minutes. And the thing I've realized about talking non-stop for the 98 minutes is
Uh,
that I don't like talking that much, guys.
yeah. What happened?
Nothing. I was just feeling emotional crisis and general uppityness.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
your
to be
unhappiness
very
is
honest, with like happiness is like that's what like genuinely was something that made me happy, not because of the reason like people think it is. I just felt like, oh, she's been in a very abusive kind of relationship.
Mm,
and I was very unhappy to see her like that. And when it happened, I was like, okay, this is good. Like,
mm,
it's over, and you can move on to something a lot better. Not me, but a
mm.
lot better.
Yeah, I think like that's like supportive happiness. Like I'm happy for you, uh,
Hmm.
even though like I guess being happy for somebody who might have caused you a little bit of unhappiness long ago is like good thing to feel good about. Like,
Hmm.
oh look, I'm mature. I can feel happy for someone.
Hmm. How about you, man? When was the last time you felt happiness other than every day because you were living with your girlfriend?
You want to run that by me again?
Do
No,
you
I
want
think.
to run that by me?
No, I think happiness recently. When was I happy?
When were you happy? It's not a good question to ask while your girlfriend's there too.
Oh, okay. So I'll tell you something that I was happy about. Today, I finished watching this movie that I had been watching over the last few days because
Mm,
I started watching it in the weekend when I was alone, and then today at work while I was eating, like I got 1 hour to eat lunch. So in that 1 hour, even if I'm done with lunch, I like watch something.
mm.
So this movie called Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh.
Yeah, it's very good according to me,
Mm-hmm.
but it's one of those
Mm-hmm.
like slow movies, and
Mm-hmm.
I watched it, and like a couple of reasons I liked it was like it made me happy was that um, like the friendship that Matt Damon and Christian Bale, the characters that they have,
Mm-hmm.
because like this is not a spoiler exactly, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean if you watch that movie, then it doesn't matter even if it's spoiled because it is a biopic in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
But in that movie, basically what happens is this guy, he the Le Mans race, the 24
Yeah,
hour
yeah,
race,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So this guy he wins it, but then technically also doesn't, and
Okay.
his friend is like, "I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry we got fucked like that." Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then this guy looks at him and says, "You only promised me the drive. You never promised me the win." And then they start like walking away, and as he's walking away, he immediately starts talking about how to improve the car.
Mm.
And then the next scene is that this guy dies while test driving a car because of some brake failure.
Mm-hmm.
And like that was like it was very like gut wrenching, but it was
Mm-hmm.
also like, oh, you know what, this movie is real. Like it gave me that feeling of they're not trying to be filmy about it. They're not trying to be like, oh, nobody dies in movies, ha, ha. And the I think that was one thing. The other thing is that My Hero Academia, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching it, and like now we have officially finished watching whatever episodes are there on Netflix. And
Mm-hmm.
I really like there was one episode that we watched. I am not somebody who cries easily or ever much for like movies, but like there was
Mm-hmm.
one scene where like there's this child who smiles, okay,
Mm.
and she because she's like she gets saved from like a really abusive kind of place. She doesn't know how to smile. So then like
Mm.
everybody around her is just like trying their best. They take her to this like festival, and then there's like this music gig happening, and everybody is like, oh, hey, you're coming, no? Okay, okay, you see, we're all performing for you also. And then at one point that girl just goes, and I know it's animated. I know it's a cartoon. I know this girl is not real. But then like I had like tears in my eyes, and I was just like, dude, Japanese anime, man. Just
Yeah,
how like
they do such a good
you
job.
blame them for like stretching the story and all of that, but just how beautifully they have brought this character to life. And in fact, like I didn't watch it for like a few weeks, and then I came back to watch it. I didn't even feel like I did not watch it. I felt like I binged this the whole way through. And then in the end, when that happened, I was just like, you know what? I am going to be a child right now and be like, this is real. I will cry to this. I will not judge myself. I will not tell myself I'm an adult. I will just let this feeling wash over me. and not try to feel this again. And I was just like, oh wow, like I've never felt so close to something that I definitely can't relate to because it's fucking animated. Okay, you can't relate to animated shit. Like nobody ever says I relate to Genie, bro. That's my life. But you know, so I think that
It's what it is.
that was something that made me happy in the sense that because I love storytelling and I love telling stories, but I also love experiencing it. And I felt like that was one of like the purest moments of like storytelling where like it touched me. I think like that made me happy. But
It's
also
good.
like generally, I don't think I deal well. I deal with happiness as well as I do with other types of feelings. I feel like as soon as I feel happy, I immediately like there's a countdown that starts in my head. It's like, oh, you felt it, no? Now watch it get fucked. The countdown has started. So I
I
immediately try to like eject.
I remember there was a like when I was in engineering college,
Mm,
there was a speaker who came there,
mm,
and he was very funny.
mm,
Like that's what I immediately got attracted to the fact that the guy was hilarious.
mm,
And I remember him talking about how to deal with success and how to deal with failures and things like that.
right.
And there was a very it was a very true thought, and I think that's something that I've always wanted to imbibe, but I've not been able to. Is the idea that uh, you are never going to be always happy, and you're never going to be always sad,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, when you're sad, the end of that sadness is happiness, and
Mm,
the end of happiness is sadness. And I'm like, that thought process is so true. Like you don't have to worry about any of these feelings, because at the end of the day,
mm,
it's a cycle that you have to follow. You can't have one without the other. You
right.
need to be sad, otherwise you'll never know what happiness is. And it's like and that is something that uh like 2 years of engineering has taught me that.
Yeah. But like,
But yeah.
what was he funny about? Like,
Oh,
because
he was
usually when
funny.
speakers try to be funny, either it works out or it doesn't. But when it doesn't, you're just like, dude, why are you trying to relate to me now?
He wasn't trying to relate. That was the thing. I think what he was doing, he wasn't doing stand up. Okay, he
Ah,
wasn't trying to be funny. What he was trying to do was, like, whenever there was any kind of questions, or like generally just like picking on the guys in the place, and he was very easygoing dude. He was just saying whatever the fuck he wanted,
yeah.
and like at one point, I think he cussed,
Wow.
and like nobody like felt
But
like,
was he like youngish?
oh.
Is that why it was not out of
No,
place?
no, no. He was old. He
Ah,
was like an old dude.
like a
I
cool
think he's
uncle.
dead now.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I think he's dead now though. But like that dude, I think a lot of times whenever I think about something funny, I think like, oh shit, that guy was pretty funny.
So is that why you think maybe you also wanted to be like that at some point, where you were
No,
like,
no, 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 no,
I
no.
want to be
This was,
funny to people?
I've always wanted to be like a funny person. Like at least not to be. No, I don't think it was always wanted to be a funny person. I always wanted to tell stories.
Ah,
So I don't think like it had anything to do with. He didn't have anything to do with this one. I think what he taught me was a more interesting thing to take back with me in life. Just don't, like, it doesn't matter if you're sad or happy, because at the end of the day you'll feel both of them anyway.
nice.
But
And I
anyway,
think that's where we will stop. Those of you who supported us through this entire hour and a half ish of content, thank you so much. This makes us want to come back and do these kind of things regularly. So thank you. If any of you are from Chennai, I don't think so, but if you know people in Chennai, then you also know our handles. But Akib will put it up in the chat anyway. If you know anybody in Chennai who would like to watch stand up either for the first time or definitely not for the last time, do ask them to check out our show. We are doing a live, socially distanced, extremely safe stand up comedy show on the 20th of March, 7 p.m. That is Saturday, and tickets are available. We also have early bird tickets for those of you who like to save money. So please do check it out. We have only 20 tickets. That is the full capacity of the place. So before the next lockdown happens, we don't know when that is, but before that, we would love to have had the last show with people who enjoy watching us and watching stand up. So please do support us, do follow us. We have reached 1,000, and that's more than I ever thought we would at any given point. But we are here now. So thank you
We
for those
heard a
of you.
party.
We're here to party.
We heard
Yeah.
a party.
So we're gonna just say bye and leave. But
1 minute, let me put the link out also for them.
yeah, and if you
And
would like to join the Discord link, then just DM us because that link expires every now and then. So we don't want to put up an expired link here. But yes, do check us out on Instagram. I'm at Codename Soda. He is at Friendly
at
Jolene.
friendly Jelly.
And yeah, that has been our time. Thank you for being part of Dei Thambi. We will be back with more. Until then, watch Akib beat his ample bosom as we exit.
Ample bosom. Ample bosom.
End
So
stream.
tired.
End.
How many hours did you get out of that? I'm sure